Imagine a world where a software company doesn't just sell you a product, but becomes your partner in reshaping your entire business. That's the story of Salesforce Ignite, a unique team that's turning the traditional IT sales model on its head. But can they spark an innovation revolution within a company known for its hard-changing sales culture? Welcome to Business Model Hackers, where we explore business strategy and management tools through case studies. Each week, we examine real-world applications of concepts and frameworks using case studies from research and our team's engagements. Now, to protect confidentiality, some details may be altered, but the lessons remain authentic. Get ready to uncover insights behind influential business decisions. Salesforce is a cloud computing giant known for its customer relationship management software. But in 2012, they launched Ignite, a team that takes a radically different approach. Instead of just pitching products, Ignite works side by side with clients to reimagine their businesses using design thinking. It's a bold move for a company that built its fortune on a classic IT sales playbook. Sam, how are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Doing good, feeling good. I'm curious, can Ignite's human-centered collaborative method thrive in Salesforce's fast-paced, deal-driven world?
Well, as you know, Salesforce was founded in 1999 with a revolutionary idea. Back then it was revolutionary to make enterprise software as easy to use as a website. I think they were like almost the pioneers. I call them pioneers of software as a service. They pioneered cloud-based CRM software sold through subscription model. This was at the time a game changer. It made powerful tools accessible to smaller businesses. So not just Salesforce, other companies that followed through other tools, right? They made enterprise, what previously was only accessible to enterprise, now accessible to small business that couldn't afford the upfront cost and complexity of the traditional ERP or enterprise resource planning software. So Salesforce culture was all about growth. So they grew by working through the sales aspect of the business, by landing big deals and expanding accounts. They hired armies and armies of salespeople who knew how to demo the product and close contracts. It was a formula that worked incredibly well. But by 2012, Salesforce was a billion-dollar business. And as they moved to upmarket to serve larger enterprises, they realized something needed to change. And here's where Ignite came in. Some of Salesforce's biggest clients started asking for more than just a product demo. They wanted a partner to help them navigate the challenges of digital transformation. They needed fresh ideas to connect with their own customers in the age of smartphones and social media. So this was a light bulb moment for Salesforce. They realized that to truly serve their enterprise clients, they needed to speak to the language of business and business transformation, not just bits and bytes. So this was a radical shift for a company built on traditional IT sales model. Cloud Salesforce bridges the gap between its product-centric DNA and the more open-ended exploratory approach of design thinking. So how could Ignite's method mesh with a high-pressure, quota-driven world of enterprise software sales? These were the big questions as Ignite set out on its mission.
Now, when we discussed optionalities in past episodes, you talked about challenges of driving innovation within established organizations. How does Salesforce's story reflect those challenges?
Salesforce's journey with Ignite is a classic example of what I call the optionality paradox. On one hand, Salesforce needed to evolve its approach to stay relevant to its interest. Ignite represented a bold new option, a way to unlock new forms of value beyond just selling software and license. But at the same time, Ignite's methods ran counter to Salesforce's core culture and business model. So Salesforce was built for speed, for closing deals and hitting quarterly targets. Ignite was all about taking time to deeply understand customers, to experiment, iterate, and with a long-term view. It didn't fit neatly into sales process. So this tension is common when established companies try to innovate. So by that time, it was well established. The very capabilities that made them successful became barrier to change. It takes real vision and commitment from leadership to create the space for different ways of working. So what did they do? What they did in these early days is Ignite faced plenty of skepticism and resistance with Salesforce. So sales teams were used to controlling the customer relationship. They didn't want a bunch of designers and researchers slowing down their deals. But Ignite had a secret weapon, executive sponsorship from Salesforce visionary founder marcbenioff, who personally introduced Ignite to some of Salesforce's biggest accounts. This sent a powerful signal that Ignite wasn't just a side project, but a strategic priority. Ignite also had to prove its value in terms that Salesforce understood. They started tracking their impact on deal size, showing how their engagement led to larger and more strategic client partnerships. They made an economic case for design thinking. So over time, through a combination of top-down support and bottom-up results, Ignite began to win over the skeptics. Sales teams started seeing Ignite as an asset, a way to differentiate Salesforce and drive larger deals. So Ignite was becoming a key part of Salesforce Enterprise Playbook.
Well, what else could they have done?
So looking back, there are a few things Salesforce could have done differently to maybe accelerate Ignite's impact and integration. First, they could have invested earlier in building out Ignite's capabilities. In the early days, Ignite was staffed largely with generalists from the consulting world. They were quick studies, but they didn't bring deep expertise in design research and user experience. Acquiring a design firm or hiring seasoned design leaders could have helped Ignite scale faster and more consistently. Another thing they could have done is they could have evolved its performance metrics and incentives sooner. So Ignite's work often didn't pay off within a single quarter, which clashed with how sales teams work. They were much short-term driven and compensated as a result. So creating long-term metrics or even a separate incentive structure for Ignite influence deals could have aligned everyone around the same goals. Lastly, they could have done more to infuse design thinking skills throughout the organization, not just within Ignite. So providing training and tools for sales, marketing, and product teams to incorporate user empathy, rapid prototyping could have amplified Ignite's impact and made it less an isolated innovation island.
What lessons can other organizations learn from Salesforce's experience with Ignite?
I think the biggest takeaway is that embedding innovation takes time and it requires change at multiple levels, not just launching new team, but rethinking processes, metrics, and culture. So organizations need to create safe spaces for experimentation where the normal rules of operations are suspended. But they also need to build bridges back to the core business to ensure new ideas can take root and scale. So it's about striking a balance between protecting the new and integrating with the old. So it's not an easy journey, but as Salesforce story shows, it's one that can pay off in a big way when you commit to it.
As we've seen, Salesforce's Ignite team represents a bold attempt to merge two often opposing forces: the agility and user centricity of design thinking and the scale and rigor of enterprise software. Now, Ignite's journey hasn't been a straight line. They've had to navigate organizational resistance, cultural clashes, and the ever-present pressures of quarterly targets. But through a combination of executive championship, proof of impact, and sheer persistence, they've carved out a place for a new way of thinking, a new way of working at the heart of a Fortune 500 powerhouse. In many ways, Ignite's story is still being written. As Salesforce continues to evolve and the pace of digital innovation accelerates, the need for innovation will only grow. The companies that thrive will be those that can combine the scale and stability of an established business with the agility and customer intimacy of a startup. Salesforce has shown that this kind of hybrid is possible, that you can teach an old dog new tricks, but it takes vision, commitment, and a willingness to rethink some fundamental assumptions. It's not for the faint of heart, but as Ignite has demonstrated, the rewards can be game-changing. So, whether you're a scrappy startup or a Fortune 500 incumbent, the question is, what's your Ignite? What's the spark that will light a fire of innovation in your organization? The answer may look different for every company, but one thing is clear. In the age of disruption, standing still is not an option. The only way forward is to ignite. Well, I think that wraps our discussion for today. Thank you so much, as usual, for tuning in, Business Model Hackers. For more information, insights, updates, please be sure to visit our website, businessmodelhackers.com. And don't forget to follow our social channels as well. And remember, when you subscribe to what we're doing on the website, you get far more in-depth analysis and research.